want to grow as a grower? Are you tired of being put to sleep by your educational growcasts? Are you tired of hearing about products you don't fucking want and can't afford? Are you tired of being told how you should grow? Hi, I'm Johnny Apple, and joining me is everyone's favorite amphibian, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Join us as we sift through the bullshit on the internet and try to get better as growers. This is Your Average Grow.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man, what's up?
Well, in Your Average Grow fashion, I've finally scheduled and brought in my good friend Mac for his Your Average Grow interview before we start the circle. Right on time.
Perfect timing.
Dudes.
Hey, Mac.
Hey, dudes.
It's only 8 months late.
I'm doing things backwards around here.
Yeah, that's right. One of the first, in fact, the first person added to the circle is the last one interviewed in true fashion.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it's mostly it was like punishment for shaving, I think, is what we had.
No, we when you were on crafting, when you joined the circle,
that's
you were on
right,
crafting like 2 weeks beforehand, so it was like, we'll just give you a break and fucking podcasting all the goddamn time. So we just wanted to separate your interview out from there. So we figured we'd get you on here a little bit later and see how things are going, man.
Oh,
and we didn't.
Well, it's great that you're thinking of me.
We didn't think you'd want to be talking to us 8 months later, so we're just excited this conversation is still happening.
Hey, dude, me too. Yeah. Couldn't think of a better group of idiots to hang out with. I'll tell you that.
It's always fun.
Oh, stop! Your flattery is so flattering.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're excited to get into the origin story that is the Mac Attack Gardens.
Yeah, man. How'd you get started? How'd you get into cannabis in general? Like, what's your relationship?
Well, I've been smoking since I was like 13. The first time I ever smoked, I rode my bike I lived in the country, so I rode my bike like 7 miles to town.
Shit.
Grabbed me $5 from my grandma, fucking hit up my buddy from school and went over to his house and gave him $5 and he gave me this little cellophane off of his fucking cigarette pack. And it's been on ever since, baby. It's been on ever since.
Same all across
is
the world.
Young.
Yeah,
why
it is pretty
why
young.
So young?
Because I always hung out with older kids because I was more mature. Like I was an only child until I was almost 10, and so I was just raised around all adults. So I was more mature and hung out with older kids, like 15, 16-year-olds, and so I was just doing the shit they were doing. But I would say that was the first time I tried it, but I didn't become a daily smoker probably until I was like 15, 16. And that was if I could even afford it, you know? So it was like, until I was an adult, I wouldn't nail down the daily smoker title, I guess.
Right.
But
not when you have to.
It was daily in high school, though, I'll tell you that.
When you're pinching your lunch money to buy sacks, it's hard to be as daily and throughout the day, you know? But Johnny,
so $5 still a cellophane pack. What do they call that? A nickel bag? A nick?
Mm-hmm. Let me get that nickel, son.
I do want to say, as the fact that 2 out of the 3 of the hosts on this show first tried cannabis much earlier than you, I resent you saying 13 is too young. I think it's a perfectly fine time.
Did I say too young?
No, you said quite young.
That sounds insulting.
No, I'm just kidding. It was quite young. No, it is younger, but I think with Mac, you can tell he's obviously more mature. Obviously, he's the most mature one on the circle by leaps and bounds. So
it probably slowed brain development a little bit because whether you're mature or not, your brain is still.
Well, that's
evolving.
what I've told my kids. I'm like, look, I know you're gonna want to fucking be out there because I was your age once too. So just like talk to me about it. I'm gonna tell you truthful information. I have your best interest at fucking heart. The kids at school don't. Their parents don't. You know what I mean? So just talk to me.
What do they say?
Because you're like.
It affects development up until like 22 or something is what they say. Is they claim, right? I'm not going to disagree with them necessarily because I don't have a degree in this shit or have any knowledge. But as someone who started using way early, I would probably say 22 sounds like a decent age, I guess. Like the later you get into it, the better. As teenagers don't. I mean, I don't know. I can't be a hypocrite in that regard ever.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, don't call me on
I
it.
mean,
But if you wait longer, it's probably better for you long term.
right, that makes sense. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like your brain's underdeveloped as a teenager, you know what I mean? So like just waiting for your brain to fully develop before you start intoxicating it by any means,
Yeah,
with any
I know
substance.
completely. That's yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
advocating one or the other because I think what isn't that like predominantly mental illness comes out in early 20s for men anyway, right? So you don't really want to risk that anyway because it can only intensify psychosis or schizophrenia, right?
Oh fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a date. I can't, like I said, I can't give advice. I was like Mac, running around as a dumb kid, doing all kinds of dumb shit. So if you're looking for parental advice from any of me, I'm not good
Yeah,
for
I
you.
think if anything fucked my brain up, it was not the
Yeah, I
weed.
was
It
gonna
was
say
It
probably
wasn't
all the
the
other
cannabis.
shit
Yeah.
I was
cannabis was
doing.
the
Yeah.
least of my worries, man. But yeah, no.
Uh,
So early, and then you went into high school. Um, I'm sure, knowing you a little bit, I don't want to spoil it too much, but you found that it was more medication as you got older than just going to get high, right?
Yeah. So, I graduated high school and like my senior year, I got arrested for possession or whatever. So I had to quit smoking. I was on probation. I didn't quit smoking, failed a couple piss tests, and then got some more probation, and then got had my first baby on the way. So I cleaned up my act, and I didn't smoke and back then I was just smoking to get fucked up,
Hmm.
and
Every young
um,
man ever.
I
mhm.
went like 5 years and didn't smoke anything, 5 or 6 years, and then I started getting headaches and shit like that, and nothing worked. And I knew weed would help me, and I, my wife, she was afraid I would slip back into my old ways and start doing all kinds of other shit too, or whatever. So I had to do some reassuring that that wasn't going to happen, and yeah, I started smoking again when I was like 25, and that's when I started viewing it more as like medicine. Don't get me wrong, I still like to party and get fucked up or
Oh, hell
whatever,
yeah.
but it's about more than that to me now. Like I never thought about medicinal value before. And while you do get the effects regardless, the medicinal effects, it's not the same as telling yourself, this is what I use this for, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Like I've been battling a stomach sloshing around all fucking day. I'm not a drinker anymore, and I had a couple beers last night with some buddies for Easter evening. So it's just like just waking up this morning, not being a drinker and having a couple beers still sitting in your stomach. It's just like fuck, man. I need to smoke so bad just to fucking calm that tossing
yeah,
in my stomach around. It really does help that. So
yeah, it does.
there's so
Waking.
It
many
does for
medicinal
sure.
uses.
Oh yeah. I do not miss waking up Monday hungover. I'll tell you that. Holy
No,
shit.
Hell no.
no, I don't miss it at all. No, even just feeling this slight off today, it was just like, what the fuck, man? It's not even worth it.
Yeah, like even back in the day, like when I was in high school and shit, and everybody was partying or whatever, I was mostly the one smoking weed, and everybody else was drinking and shit. And I'd have a few beers, but I never really was a drinker. And then when I quit smoking, I started drinking heavily, and
Yeah.
It's
I
so
never got to the.
acceptable.
I was a like super hard binge drinker. It wasn't a daily thing, but come the
Mm-hmm.
weekend, dude, I'm pounding back a fucking 30 pack or a whole fifth of something, and it's like as soon as I started smoking again, I maybe have 2 or 3 drinks a year, it seems like.
Yeah.
Uh, I, five maybe max, and that's probably pushing it.
it's
So,
it's really nice to not have to like feel like shit. That's all I just ever tell
yeah,
myself because it is like
it
Mm-hmm.
like
is.
I didn't get I wasn't lucky enough to be able like I started as binge drinking, right? Like and I'd go hard on the weekends. And then I realized I could get away with it during the week, and it just went fucking
Mm-hmm.
full on from there, obviously, and then years and years later. But yeah, I mean, one of the leading motivators to not drinking is just being like, holy shit, I feel great.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
That's just fucking feeling good. It's like, oh yeah, I don't need to get run over by that fucking truck tonight. It'll be
exactly.
fine.
Yeah,
Not being upset
yeah,
that the sun rose, like, just
Yeah.
5 more minutes, man. Anyhow, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, so you started getting back into it, and obviously your wife was relieved that you didn't relapse
yeah,
back into your old habits.
yeah. She still says I smoke too much weed sometimes, but that's usually when I get like fucking high school high and like act like an idiot
Oh
and
yeah.
fucking
Uh-huh.
I like to fuck with her and play pranks on
Oh
her and
yeah.
shit. And and I'll be like laughing so hard I'm fucking sweating and she's just looking at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Her and Megan can have a support group. I'm the same fucking way, dude. I'll be laughing and she'll be like, "You can tell I'm frustrated." I'm like, "It's funnier."
That's why I'm
Yeah.
laughing.
Yeah, dude.
No, it's good though, because all I got to do is put my hand on her forehead and she can't get close.
Same,
Yeah,
same.
that's right.
Yeah.
But
Like,
yeah,
dude,
no,
are you even 5 foot?
yeah, no. I always remind her, like, she'll be like, "I didn't realize I was that short," and I was like, "The world does." But yeah, so you started doing it more recreational or less recreational, more medicinally, and you still do both. But when did you start growing? What was your first? Because I'm sure it was obviously like you like doing things yourself, and you're like, fuck it, I could do it.
Yeah. Well, um, we uh graduated from our apartment, bought a house, did all that shit. We got, cars, car payments, all that shit adds up.
Hmm.
And then when you put in fucking between four and $600 worth of weed on top of all your bills,
Yep.
there was a lot of times like that I wasn't smoking. And then um, COVID came around, and like a lot of people in our community, I started getting the idea like I'm stuck at home, nothing to fucking do. I had a buddy at work, he hit me up and he's like, dude, he was telling me about this some dude on YouTube and to check him out or whatever. And I looked it up and there's this dude that grew weed and I was like, and it was just like one of those potato phone
Oh
quality
yeah.
videos, but I thought it was cool as fuck. And then he started sending me Amazon links for like grow kits and shit. And I ended up picking up well, both of us, we ended up picking up a fucking Spider Farmer 3x3 kit.
Right on.
And we were like helping each other out along the way, learning together and shit. And it was cool because we worked together, so we saw each other every single fucking
Yeah.
day. So
Give
like
you something to talk
every day
about.
we're like, look at this fucking thing, look at this
Mhm.
thing, like and and at that time we ain't growing fucking shit like 2 3 ounce autos, and we're like, hell yeah, look at this motherfucker, dude. And then
Yeah.
once it clicks with you and you start like getting the methods down and shit. So it was like, I don't know, it was cool to have somebody else to learn with. So, anyways, I got that and started growing, and then you know how shit goes. You're like, oh well, if I had this, then like for example, if I had one more tent,
One more light.
put
Like one more.
yeah, one more light, one more fan,
Mhm.
fucking. And then you buy new shit and you have old equipment sitting around and you're like, well, I paid good money for that, so I might as well put it to use. And then you
Yep.
buy another fucking tent because you can outfit it because you already bought a new light and fan. So it's like I'm
It's
done. I'm done.
Uh-huh.
I believe
I'm
you.
done.
Yeah.
We
I have
totally believe you.
no, literally, dude. Like when I try to think about, I still try to think of shit that I can buy, but
Yeah.
I just can't. Like there's stuff that I could buy that's like way out of the amount of money that I would feel comfortable spending on shit. But
Yeah. Yeah, like a
like
$4,000 light or some shit that fuck it. Yeah, there's
The
fancy shit
dreams.
out there I would
Yeah.
love to throw money at, but fucking why?
Well, like that new Pulse hub that you can like monitor your reservoir and like all that kind of shit, but it's like $900.
Yeah,
No,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's I
a
already
lot
got
of money.
the I already have the Pulse Pro, so all I would be adding, like it does everything that the Pulse Pro does, but all I would really be adding is the ability to attach like they have sensors that you can stick in like the cocoa or the soil so that you can tell the EC of the root zone and you can monitor your reservoir. So you can like it does do extra
Pretty
shit
trick
and
stuff. Yeah,
it's cool as fuck, but it's just not practical, I
yeah.
don't think to I mean, you could literally buy a whole entire grow setup for that amount of money,
Oh
like
yeah.
tent, light, all of it, and get pretty decent shit. And so I just it's stuff like that that I look at now and like Canatrol, but I need like five of those.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Good luck.
no, dude, um but yeah, it's I think I'm doing good with the 4x4 and the 3x3. And
Hell yeah. I'd say you're doing better than good, but that's my personal opinion. I think you're
well,
fucking
thanks,
doing
dude.
fantastic. But I agree with you. I mean, I'm lucky, like I said multiple times, I'm maxed out, but there is that spiral at the beginning where you're just like, oh, I want to get more, or what can I get more? Even, every other grow, I'm sitting there going, okay, but if I combined it into this, or if I do this, like, it's just, it's some of the fun
Yeah.
of having downtime.
I'm even starting to get that way with seeds a little bit. Honestly, I'm being really picky about what I'm spending my money on these days, where before I was just like, whatever that breeder was hyping up. Like, dude, and it's all going to be fire, I know, but I have so many night owl
Oh yeah.
packs, like, just because it gets so hyped up, and I'm like, I gotta have it, I gotta have it, because you
Mm-hmm.
don't ever really know if the shit's coming back. And
Oh yeah. Or
uh,
not coming back that same way, right?
but I'm
Like,
like bursting at the fucking seams with seeds. Yeah. So it's like at
I
this point, I have to be willing to miss out on something,
Yeah.
miss out. You have to you have to,
trade for it
yeah,
later or
trade for it,
something.
wait out, or just accept that you're gonna have to lose this FOMO. Because I'm the same way, right? Like, I've got 3 earth boxes right now that I can cycle through. And I've got enough seeds to where that I could cycle that indefinitely before I get anything new. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
if every time I'm having to make a tough choice, why am I, I got to be better at narrowing down the things I spend money on.
Well, yeah. It's like, you know that there was a reason that you wanted that when you bought it.
Yep.
And then you just keep growing other shit instead of that. So it's like, it's not necessarily that I don't want to buy the stuff. It's that I don't want to buy them and have to hold them for 5 fucking years until I
Hmm.
can get to them. And then decrease my chance of germination and all that shit. And it's like I'm spending the same amount of money on it. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting on them and saving them forever. So it's like I just I want to run some of the shit that I have because there's a reason that I have it. So I'm kind
Exactly.
of like Alabrije drops. I'm on that, and certain night owl shit that I know I'm going to want. I'm gonna
Hmm.
buy, but it's just and there's other breeders and shit too that I would
Oh
it
yeah.
doesn't really
There's a
matter the
lot of stuff
breeder
out there.
if they're a good breeder, and plus I'm like I'm getting seeds from Green Guy because I'm testing for
Hmm.
him and shit too. So I got to make sure that I have a spot for that. I felt super bad. I had to tell him just skip me this round because I don't have the space for it, and I already started the photo period plants, so I don't want to just kill them because they're beautiful and um, which he was cool with. I just felt bad because I did the first round of testers with him since joining the team, and then the very next round, I'm like, "Yo, dude, skip me this
Yeah.
time." Like,
Yeah.
No,
but he was
it's
cool
tough.
with it. He understood, and I told him it's mainly just because I'm doing that tangy reversal project, and
Hmm.
I, I just I don't want any of the testers to get contaminated with pollen, and then I don't know if they're popping nanners themselves or if they got pollinated by tangy and like space is an issue. So
Yes.
it's cool,
Space
but
is space is always what ends up winning, no matter what you do. It's only
yeah,
so much. It's a good thing that Big Green Guy's such a nice guy. Um, Otherwise, we'd all be
love that
terrified of
guy.
him. Yeah, he's such a great guy.
Yeah, he's the fucking coolest.
Super
Unfortunately,
good guy.
those fucking Hawaiian blueberries I planted? I don't think any of them are surviving. And
What?
it's all my fault. Yeah, man. I fucking that dome. So I tried the humidity dome this time, and I just left them in there a day too long, and they didn't fucking. I think they dampened off. By the time I got to them to put them in the bed, I think there's one of them still fucking happy.
Jesus.
There's a word for that.
Johnnying.
Yeah.
It was totally Johnny. So I was trying a different method. So I've tried the germinating in the peat with the fucking arrow cloner. That worked out pretty good, but they weren't in a dome. So I could fucking ignore them for an extra day or two and not worry. And their taproot went straight down into the air, into water. So it was fine when I fucking picked these things up. I had a taproot about an inch long hanging out that was brown and fucking dead. It was like, yeah, these things, fuck this one up.
Yeah.
But
Dude,
sorry,
I mean,
sorry, green guy.
you should have been able to tell by mine and Rev's reaction to that sad news
Oh, I
that
know.
we
You're
were not the
surprised?
least bit surprised.
Ever.
Shit.
It's what
Dude,
we
I'll
love
find
you
my
for.
way. Look, I'll find my way. I just got to stop fucking around with autos and
No,
like
it's
if
not
unless I have the
autos.
time.
You got to
No,
stop.
it is.
No, it's
These
not.
wouldn't be a problem if they
How
were
are they?
photos. I
How
wouldn't
were
care.
those?
They'd
How
be
was
fine.
that the auto's fault? You completely
It-
forgot.
I'm not blaming autos. I'm saying I need to stop fucking around with autos. If I don't have the time, I can't fucking baby them. I need to have full focus on autos for at least the first 2 weeks.
Will you just stop and listen real quick? Photo periods dampen off too. If you would
Yeah,
have
but
left the dome on the
they won't
photo
be dead.
periods, they would be dead as well.
They're not dead yet. They're just not fucking gonna make it. I'm not gonna flower them out.
Oh, okay.
You know what
So
I mean?
you're
They're not
saying they'll
completely
be
dead
they'll
yet.
be stunted because you
Yes, because
yeah.
they started to look droopy and the tips started to burn a little bit, and it was like, nah, man, these fucking they're
It's
not
a fair
for
point.
autos. It's not gonna work.
Well, everybody
They're not
does
gonna
shit
work.
like that sometimes, and I would honestly agree with you that they probably, unless you were going to just grow every single one of them,
Yeah,
you're probably not going to get a whole lot
no,
if you fuck them up that early for sure.
and they're
Trust me,
regs
I've done
too,
it
so it's
plenty of
not even.
times.
Yeah, it's too
Oh,
early, and they're
absolutely.
regs, so I don't have time to have the one that's fucking surviving end up be a male. So,
My
and it was
point.
going in the big tent.
My
I
point
understand
was
your.
more to the thing that you can't keep fucking trying new things and failing and then blaming autos. Because it's
I
like the fourth time where you're like, tried something new, didn't work, it's auto's fault. And it's like, wait a second. I
Him
know
and Mrs.
I'm not saying
Go
you're
ahead.
blaming autos, but I am just saying that you're just like, I don't know why it's working. Like, well, you keep trying something new.
No, so this time I'm not. I do have a problem with autos,
Yeah.
but this time it was just like if they were photos, I'd be able to fucking be
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit more comfortable.
Maybe.
I didn't have the time this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't.
if with in a situation where you're not spending a lot of time with them in the first couple days of their life, then you're right. Yeah, you're better
Yeah,
off with if you do a little bit of damage at the beginning. You're better. Yeah.
that's the only point I'm trying to make there. But I am gonna plant that fucking double smile because they did just come in.
Oh yeah. What
So
was your
that double
freebie?
smile. Tooth decay crossed with mango. I don't remember. But the other one
You
was
and
the funky magnifera.
Yeah, the
ooh,
livers, mango smile by
Yep,
livers.
that's mango smiles crossed with
That's gonna be
livers.
cool.
you
And the
got that?
freebie was
Yeah.
yeah.
Great.
What? We got to do
It's
another grow together.
fucking dead already.
He touched
We were just talking about that. We were just talking about that because Cap G3 told Captain she would give him a couple of the beans she got, and I was like, "It's okay. He doesn't want them. You have my address." And then and then fucking Mrs. Howling was like, "Oh, Mac's gonna be busy with the tangies, so you could just send them to me instead."
fucking wolf. What a
Cap's
wolf.
like, "If you want to talk about pussy terps,
There you go.
stanky pussy terps."
that blasphemer.
Gross.
Yep.
That was the skunk,
He
right? The
said
hash skunk.
that, yeah, but he also said that the only other one that he's grown that smelled like that was that livers.
Oh, that's right.
Gross.
Yeah.
No, I'm not interested.
Well, he did say creme de la Kim smelled like pennies and period blood. Like,
Yeah.
Iron. Very strong iron
yeah,
smell. Yeah.
He is
yeah,
he is a amateur gynecologist, as he likes to say.
yeah.
Yeah, so the double smile that's going in soon, right? So when are you putting that in?
Probably the next couple days.
Right on.
I'm
Let's
going
get
right
back.
to solo. I did the 2 solo cup method, but the solo cup is like I dug out the hole in the earth box, so everything is in the same atmosphere. It shouldn't get stretched, and then once it's ready, I'll just take the second one off, put it back in. I'll soft transplant on this one, but I figure at least in the 2 solo cup method, I can still balance out and weigh, and I won't overwater or underwater. But
Right
I
on.
should have time in the next couple days to really focus on that thing for the next week or two to get it off the ground. I'm hoping. But
You'll get to a point where you don't have to focus on it so hard.
yeah, I mean, right now I just don't have a system down, especially coming into the new grow room. I don't have a system down. So I'm a fucking being a spaz case as it is and just trying to figure out an easy way that works for me. I'm trying everything all at fucking once. So
Howling likes to blame the autos too. You guys should get married or something.
we were gonna, but the thing is
He's a
I don't
blasphemer.
like him. He's terrible person. He's like the worst.
Yeah.
No, I fucking love that guy. He's so good shit. And he's such a good grower, and he's been growing less time than me. I could not be married to that man or woman, whatever it is.
Miss.
I'll let him choose when he's older.
Yeah, when he gets old enough. You did. No, I'm excited for this double smile. It's gonna be awesome. And the girls on the grow along.
Yep.
Right on.
Yep, that's the one. Fuck yeah, man. And for our own to grow together. I'm finally entering again.
Oh, that's right. You're re-entering.
Yeah.
Dude, you've seen mine. I'll still be in it.
Mine's going at least a fucking 110
Oh
days,
yeah,
I bet.
easily. I was just gonna say, let's get back to our guests and talk about that mango smile. I know
sir.
we like to focus a lot on your past, so we'll get back to it. But I've seen some pictures coming out of your garden the last 2 days that have blown my mind. Do you want to talk about what you got going right now?
Oh yeah, I just got
I mean, don't sound
couple.
excited or anything. It's fucking whatever. Fucking son of a-
No, dude. I always feel bad because like I've been the guy that's like, fuck, I don't even want to post my plants anymore, dude. And I still feel that way. Like when Cots and Stony and them take pictures and shit, I'm like, I don't even want to post mine. But no, I got these Blue Zeroso and Mango Smile going, and I had everybody knows now. I had to move Mango Smile out. She was in with the Blue Zeroso, and she was taking over.
Yeah, she was.
So, um,
So what'd you do with that Blue Zeroso? I don't think I asked that yet.
what do you mean?
You took the Blue Zeroso out. Did you put
The
that in the
mango.
3x3?
No, I just took the mango out because there was 4 Blue Zeroso and 1 mango. So, and they're both in 3x3s. So I was like, well, fuck it, I'll just leave the Blue Zeroso in here. And I took bought another aqua valve and just put it in a fucking like a drain pan, a saucer, and dude, I've been feeding with that. It's like having a fucking homemade auto pot tray. It's cool as hell. I just teed off the res that was going to the Blue Zeroso and ran it over to the other tent and feeding them both off the same res still. So
That's cool as hell.
And it's so
yeah,
your mango's in what, the 5x5 now then?
no, it's in a 3x3.
Okay, so
I
you
have
got 2 3x3s
yes, I have
and
an
a
extra
5x5.
3x3 because it's supposed to be my dry tent.
Got you. Now
But I
I'm
had the
tracking.
extra light, so I was like, well, I gotta move this bitch or kill it. And it was too far along, dude. I was like all the way through stretch almost. Like it was halfway through stretch when I decided to move it. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not giving up. The last 2 mango smile plants I tried to grow, I killed at like day 42. I wasn't doing that again when there was nothing wrong with her at all. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to sacrifice and dry in the 4x4 so that I can keep this mango smile going strong. And
I think it's gonna pay off. It's a beauty.
but
She
I want to
is.
say I just realized that it's Johnny's fault that I haven't started the tangies yet because I would have the tent space to do it if I didn't grow that fucking mango smile.
Oh, there
Why
you
is
go.
that my fault? Oh, I talked you into that. That's right. I conned
Yeah,
you.
because you're like, I said I was going to do 5 Blue Zeroso, and you're like, well, why don't you do
Four and one.
4
4-1.
Blues Rosso and 1 Mango Smile and grow with us. I was like, oh, that's a good idea, dude. I'll do that. And dude, I was like, I'm gonna top everything, whatever. It grew slow as Blues Rosso was beasting over her
Yeah,
in veg, and then flower hit and that stretch, dude, and she came in strong and just like daily she was like 2 inches more taller, 2 inches taller. I'm like, holy fuck, dude. Now what am
That's
I gonna
crazy.
do? Because I have one Blue Zeroso that's literally gonna have to either be washed, like uh ran through a fucking make a tincture for edibles or like press it into rosin or something because it stayed so short because that was the main one she was like taking
competing
over,
with.
like
Yeah.
just growing right over top of it, not letting it get shit for light, so it's like half the height of the rest of them. But it's all good. I'm not disappointed about it because I planned on pressing that shit anyways.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, that's all I got going on right now. Really, is the Mango Smile and the Blue Zeroso. Tangy's about to get popped, I think, this week. I can't stop thinking about it, and I have like I can uh, put a bucket or something in next to Mango Smile and scooter over a little bit so that I can fit some seedlings on the bucket in there. And I don't need these plants to be 100% perfect. I just need them to stay semi-healthy. So like I'm not trying to grow giants. I'm growing them in 1 gallon pots to avoid getting giants. And yeah, I mean, like if I can grow 6 2-ounce bud weight, female, like that size plant, if I can grow 6 of those and pollinate all 6 of those, it's going to be more seeds than anybody's ever going to need. So I don't need to grow any big plants for that. I would rather have the variety of them. So I'm going to do the 1 gallon pots and
Right on.
get that going soon. Um,
You don't need the extra fucking nutrients or anything either, dude, to feed those beasts, man.
no,
Your last
the
tangy would have been
oh, dude.
six
Yeah.
of those.
Dude, I was thinking a while back, I was thinking like, dude, if I would have seeded that plant, there probably would have been fucking 10,000 seeds on that
Mm-hmm.
thing. It was huge. I have no interest in growing a plant that big ever again, honestly. Like, it was fun, but it was tough because, like, I had to blast it with way too much light at the top because I was not sacrificing everything that was down below it. And Mango Mirror from Night Owl kept up with her pretty much that whole time until the end. Like, this bitch stretched until day 60 something. Like, literally only plant I've ever seen that had nugs on it that was still getting taller. So
Crazy.
I don't want that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly considered doing them in half gallons, but I'm still using cocoa, so I don't want to have to water fucking 14 times a day
I was
because
gonna say every 5 minutes, just sit there and
I got to keep it healthy still because I want it to produce healthy fruit, healthy seeds. Like, I, I still want, like, I don't want to grow them for nothing. So I'm planning on, like, uh, completely, like, grinding it up and sifting it to get all the trichomes and shit after I get the seeds
right on.
out. And, like, so I still want it to be healthy. So I'm just going with smaller pots. Um, Other than that, I just got the dry going. I got blueberry grape, runtsberry blues, strawberry milk and cookies, and true mac drying right now. It's like day 9, so it's almost done.
Nice, dude. Very nice. What about that 2x4 you had with your vegetables in it? How's that doing?
It's doing pretty good, but my electricity bill is high enough without that, so I'm not running that. I already have fucking 40 amps dedicated to the grow, and I'm not really trying to dedicate any more to that. And the
I got you.
if I didn't have to run a dehumidifier, dude, I could have like 15 tents. But
Brutal. It's
it
because
has
you're
to
in the
run.
basement. You're in.
And especially right now, dude, it's like humidity is so high down there because the ground temperature is warming up, so it's bringing up and like
The
my
waters.
I always say this. I have the opposite problem of everybody else because I'm in the basement. Like summertime, I'm fighting like humidity and fucking all that, and then I might even have to add heat in the summer because of my central air running all the time. So I'll have to add heat to the grow space. And then in the winter, I'm like, it's 87 fucking degrees in this room. How can I cool it off? Because there's one vent that goes into that general area of the basement. And like, I close it off, put duct tape over the motherfucker, and it still comes through because all the duct work's there. So it's still putting off heat and or or cool air.
Cold, yeah.
And so like yeah, it's weird. In the summertime I might have to add heat, and in the wintertime I wish I could run an air conditioner, honestly. I just
That's
found
crazy.
out that they make those fucking portable air conditioners that are also dehumidifiers. So like
Yeah, it's a
it's
heat
a
pump.
all-in-one thing. Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, they're basically a heat pump. It's just like a mini split would be. My mini split does that too. It'll dehue, it'll air condition and or heat.
Probably much less efficient, but I got one of those kilowatt meters that you can plug in like the dehumidifier into that and then plug it into the wall and start it up and see like how much electricity it's pulling.
Hmm.
And um, that thing's pulling fucking like 598 watts while it's running. So I can at least have a baseline to compare for like those AC DHU combo
Yeah.
deals to see if like it's going to be costing me that much more or not. I literally didn't know they made those until just the other day.
Well, any
But
air conditioning unit is going to be a
Yeah,
dehumidifying unit. Air conditioning is going to pull the fucking humidity out, period.
that's how I
So,
get my
yeah, but
tent 60/60 is the way it works in my
mhm.
garage is when I run the portable AC because it also by cooling the air dehumidifies it. It gets it right to 60/60.
and I know that, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it's going to work in like a small fucking room in the basement where it's like I wasn't sure that it would be good enough, I guess.
I
Right.
will
Yeah.
say it mine is not perfect and I'm only trying to do a 2 by 3 tent. And it's a pain in the ass sometimes. So I imagine a whole room, even like a basement, would be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, and like the thinking behind that for me is like I turned off the because I've been thinking about this recently, and I turned off like my baseboard heaters in the basement because I in the big area of the basement, like where my gym and shit's at, and once it gets colder down there, the humidity fucking really spikes. So
I
like the
bet.
air is really heavy down there. So I was always afraid that if I got like a portable AC, that my humidity was just going to be so fucking out of control that I'm going to have to run a DHU, and then I'm going to be cooling with one unit and heating the room back up with the fucking other one. So I
Fighting it,
thought it would
yeah.
just be pointless, and but
No,
maybe not.
I think you'd be surprised at how much dehumidifying will happen with an AC. I
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't think you'll
may.
see a spike. I really don't think you would. It definitely wouldn't go up.
Well, I can't get my dry room colder than like 68 degrees right now. So I may end up trying it and having to fucking experiment. And if not, I guess I'll have my wife sell it on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
That's a good I can't dry without one, and it just so happens that it also sets my tent up right. But I also kind
Oh
of
yeah.
I grow in a garage and it's mostly concrete, so like I also fight horrible disastrous things like humidity too, where you're just like how it's like I've
Yeah.
I've had the garage door open and it's 30 out, like the humidity's 30 out. What's going on? And it just you start fighting yourselves, and there's only so much you can do.
Dude, you know how I had two plants. Well, True Mac was just kind of finicky with the nutrients in that last grow that I just
Hmm.
finished. Blueberry grape didn't mind this at all, but I figured out why. What I made an educated guess as to why my Runtsberry Blues and Strawberry Milk and Cookies just looked fucking sad, curling their leaves down all the time and shit. I'm pretty sure it's because when I set that 4x4 up, I tried putting, I have those like puzzle piece floor mats for like gyms and
Uh-huh.
shit. And I
Mm-hmm.
tried putting four of those in the 4x4 because that's what I use under my tents
To keep them off the
to
concrete, yeah.
keep them off the concrete. Well, I thought I put the fucking things in there, but I remembered after I chopped everything and took the trays out and then realized that the floor was rock fucking hard and that I was sitting on
Oh,
concrete that whole time.
root zone got really cold constantly.
I tried to put, I think like at lights out, it was really, the ground just got really cold. But I remember trying to put them in there and four of them wouldn't fit. And I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? And I was like, oh, I'll worry about that later. And then, cause I was just trying to dial in like the environment parameters at that time. I was like, it don't matter. It ain't going to affect the fucking humidity and temperature in the tent or nothing. I just got to make sure I didn't do anything about it. So I'm pretty sure that it was just like, it was making the water that was sitting in the auto pot tray too fucking cold. And two of the plants, because like it was like one sign that you're feeding too cold of water to your plants is that you'll get the purple stripes that will look like you'll think it's phosphorus or potassium or something,
In the
but it'll
stems,
get,
right? You're talking about in the
yeah,
stem. Yep.
on the stems, and it'll start on the main stem and spread to the other stems. And both of those plants did that, and I couldn't figure out why. And I really do think that that was all it was. And if I would have lifted them up off the ground like earlier, they probably would have been fine. Um, so that's an example of like somebody that semi knows what the fuck they're doing, still fucking shit up. Like we all fuck
Mm-hmm.
shit
Oh
up.
yeah.
And that's the whole point of that is like everybody fucks shit up sometimes. I fuck up seedlings sometimes. Johnny ain't alone on that.
Hell
I
no.
do I do stupid shit. I experiment just like everybody else. I make it public just like everybody
Yep.
else. I fucking
It's the
cuss
fun.
myself just like everybody else. And it's just part of it, dude. Like it doesn't matter how good you think you are. You're always going to make
Oh yeah.
mistakes. And
Oh yeah.
You're not trying hard enough if you don't fall, dude. That's always what my dad told me, man. Like, if you just keep doing what you're comfortable with, then you're never going to get better. So you got to go try new things. Like I take one picture regardless and post it, right? Like a day. Just because that's how I roll. I don't want to spend too much time taking pictures because I don't have the talent that some people do. However, I like posting that shit, especially like those solo cups. I got one that's radiant yellow and leaves falling off, and I'm like, "Here, dude, I fucked up. Check this out," because it is like I don't have any false security. I don't think anyone expected me to nail a solo cup, nor do I. If they did, fuck them. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
bro,
like,
That's their burden.
I've had full plants look like that
oh
solo
yeah,
cup.
I'm saying
Like
like if it happens in my garden, I'm gonna show you because that's the fun, dude. Because we all fuck up and go, or some plants just like look at what's going on with my mango smile. That's fucking wild, dude. I have no idea what's going on, but
that
it
is
is
so
what it is.
weird.
Yeah,
That I've
That is
never
so
seen
weird.
anything like that. That is
I
so
know.
crazy.
It's
It
be
literally looks like the apical meristem, fuck the whole main and the
Mm-hmm.
main top, and like it's stunted, but the
yeah.
rest of the plant is
Just
totally fine.
It looks like I planted like I did stunt the main stem, like you said, and then or like four other plants started growing up around it, and now they're
Yeah.
going into stretch. And I'm just like, and the main stems all guide fieried out, right? Got just all those white pistils, and then you see a little bit of pistils on the outer branches, but now they are almost going through another stretch where they're like gone back in time. I'm going, what the? So BGG
remember that.
thinks it's a thing lays his educated guess is obviously something to do with the photo period genetics somehow, but it's still
You
growing.
remember that green crack I had a few months back? That fucking we were taking pictures like every day. Like, what the fuck is this
Oh
thing doing? It
yeah,
was doing something very similar to that, and it ended up herming. So I that's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if that thing fucking hermed on you the way that's going.
yeah,
Because
I
it did.
wouldn't.
That green
Well,
crack
why
was doing
does it?
something similar.
My thing is like, even just looking at it, even if you don't think like, okay, you might think that if the whole thing's even like that, or the side branches are stretching up higher, you might think, okay, they topped it or
Hmm.
whatever, and fucking. But it's like dark, deep green, like it's
Yeah,
nitrogen
Yup.
burnt, and the rest of it looks perfectly fucking healthy. So it's like
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is going on with that
It's
thing,
it's
dude? It's
it's like it ate or like some kind of something. It got some it's got too much nitrogen and was like, fuck this, I quit. And then the rest of the plant was like, but we didn't get any. And then
Yeah.
it just blew up because you're right. I mean, it looks like that dark green looks like it's like, wow, man, like I fucked up. Wait, why is the rest of the plant healthy?
yeah.
Like if you just sent me that top, I'd go, okay, yeah, you feed you way too heavy of feeding. And then you're like,
Yeah, it's like
but
three finger leaves,
yeah,
dark green,
Hmm.
clawing down and shit. They're like all wrinkly, like they're fucking nutrient loaded, and then the rest of it's just like,
yeah,
hey.
hey,
Uh-huh.
all the new growth looks healthy as shit. And it's like, but okay. Like,
That your
Yeah,
main stem's gonna be done flowering at 84 days, and the rest of it's gonna be like
oh yeah.
120, 130.
Well, it's officially it hasn't grown, but the outer has all grown 2 inches. So by the time wherever it finishes, I'm afraid it's going to shade out the center of its own self.
It's gonna
I
come
wonder if
blasting
that
up around it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that confused plant drinks Bud Light.
Kid Rock will shoot it or whoever shot it. I don't. That's such a weird thing to give a fuck about.
Oh
There's
man.
so many serious issues happening in the world. If that shit bothers you, man, come on.
Seriously,
Like,
I only made the joke
oh
because
no, no, I'm not saying you do. I'm just
the
saying that.
memes are
Yeah,
pretty funny.
just
They are
the.
hilarious.
I just think it's always funny when someone goes out buys something to destroy it in protest. It's like after 9/11 and the French decided not to help us. Do you remember the people who went and bought French wine and then broke it in the streets? And it was like
Yeah,
France still got the money. They don't give a fuck what you do with it.
exactly. That's
I
like
Everybody was
when
burning their
fucking
Nikes at one point too.
yeah.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck you, motherfucker. I paid
I
$200 for
know.
these Air Max. I
My
ain't
J's
burning this
cost
shit.
3, so I ain't
Yeah.
burning them
I
motherfuckers.
just don't I'll never understand that form of protest because they're just like, well, fuck it. It's I bet you at some point there was some guy at the very beginning of time who was the first person who got rich off of outrage, and he has taught everybody that will listen, like, hey man, the way you make money, get everybody to hate you. And the first person who reacted
It was
negatively,
Howard Stern.
no, the first caveman who paid a dude and then broke
Ooh,
his cave painting. He is responsible for all the bullshit we fucking have in this world.
that Neanderthal
That
fuck.
fuck yeah. No, but it is such a weird, like everyone buying Bud Light to shoot it or stuff, and I'm just like, I don't think Bud Light gives a fuck how many bullets you put in each can. You bought it,
Oh shit, it's
but
so fucking
it is
ridiculous.
it is very funny. We'll have to get into some of the deeper, darker questions later. But I wanted to ask Johnny, do you have plans other than the now that you've kind of seen what's going to happen with the very anticipated Hawaiian blueberry? Do you know what you're doing next?
I'm probably just gonna stick with the Hella Jellies and the Double Smile for right
Right
now.
on. That sounds great.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
Um,
gonna keep the other 2 tents down. Keep the prop tent. Maybe we'll focus on the vegetables too because I got to get my vegetable garden going. So
mhm.
That's what I was working on today.
Oh, were
nice,
you?
man.
Give me a
What do you
little
got
detail,
planned?
Mac. Yeah.
Well, we're doubling our plot this year,
Ooh.
and uh, I we're gonna do some. I'm super excited, so I'm just gonna jump right into this. Kuka melons, thanks, Cots. I've
Ooh.
definitely grown those. I checked them out online. They're called like Mexican sour gherkins, is like
Gherkins.
the
Yep.
actual name of them. Dude, they look so good. I saw one chopped in half, and I was like, man, that flesh looks so good. But so I hit up fucking Baker Creek and grabbed some. But no, just the normal shit. That's where I do like my soil growing and
Hmm.
so all the knowledge that you organic guys share still helps me because I take all that shit in and I'm like, okay, I could do this or that when I'm growing my veggies outside and like, so even if you're salts and cocoa indoors, you can fucking grow some bomb ass organic
Oh
veggies
hell yeah.
outdoors. Uh,
I will often say that there are those that are very good at salts and stuff can easily switch to organics, whereas the alternative I don't think is as simple because a handful for me doesn't kill my plant. A handful of the wrong shit and salts, and it's like, what the fuck did you do, you dumb shit?
Well, that is true, but I'm opposite. I have a hard time with organics. I think everybody says it's easy, but there's a lot to it. But it's also like what you make it, because you can literally just buy a bag of fucking good
Yeah.
soil and grow in it and be perfectly fine without adding anything. So,
There
Dude,
is
I've almost considered that, like going back to just the fucking basics. Literally grab a bag of like 3.0 from Build a Soil or Build a Soil Light, put it in a 5-gallon pot and just grow a fucking autoflower.
and then just
Like,
add
I
like one
know it's
thing at a
easy.
time
yeah.
so that you know where you're like what's going wrong. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily what you're doing wrong, but it could be like maybe you need to dial back on something, but you're never going to know because you added 15 things this round and you have
Yeah.
no idea what the fuck
Yep.
is causing your problems.
I think
Yep.
the biggest scary thing for organics is when people look at it and they see the extremes. So they see someone who does literally, they make every aspect of their own, KNF or Jadam or any of that stuff, as opposed to you just need to know, like, okay, it's this simple, this is your end goal, this is how you want to do it. There's people who will make every aspect of organic gardening for you, and you can pay for it. Or if you want to go crazy and have fun like me, you can just do shit in your garage and test it out and stuff that. But when a lot of people first start, they look at the overarching, like the end goal of like Chris Trump, right? Like you look at some of the shit that he does and you're like, God damn, is that cool? But it's super advanced and you don't need to know that yet. It's a rabbit hole you have to dive into and discover
Yeah.
slowly. But that when you first see it, sometimes you're like, God damn, those weird ass hippies. Like, I don't want to do that shit. But then you're like, oh, it's not hard at all. Any idiot can do it.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
drove
I
by a
grew.
fucking
No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna
Go
say
ahead.
I drove by a fucking a shop today. I was like, "What the fuck are they doing out there? What is that?" Dude, it was a hydroponic strawberry fucking field.
Ooh, that's cool. How'd
Dude,
they
Hell
I
do
thought
that?
that
yeah.
was cool as shit. I was like, I don't know. They were like really small pots. I was like, "What the fuck is that, man?" My buddy goes, "Yeah, that's a hydroponic fucking strawberry field." I was like, "Dude,
That's
genius!" Because it was like maybe an acre, but think of how much you can get
yeah,
hydroponically in an acre of fucking strawberries.
And
that's
That's crazy.
strawberries are fucking money, dude.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's going to be very little of them coming this year. Well, not very little. I'm sure you'll have no issue. But California is where we get a lot of those strawberries, and all of the fields were flooded, so
Flooded.
there's not
Yep.
going to be very many strawberries.
I got a little 8x8 patch that I planted last year that I planted 9 fucking strawberries in. So they all started sending their fucking
Runners out.
runners out, and it pretty much filled in the 8x8 area. So I'm hoping that I got some good strawberries this year.
Oh yeah, man, that sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
It's not going to be a fucking hydroponic grow, but
I know it's
I
not as
threw some.
cool, motherfuckers. Star Trek, motherfuckers. But
Yeah,
How do you
that's
right.
keep how do you keep birds from eating the berries?
I don't. I just plant
Oh,
more
okay.
berries, so there's enough to go around.
sacrificial plants. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm right next to a raspberry fucking I got a raspberry row too, so my raspberry bushes will fucking they'll go to that first and hopefully leave the strawberries pretty much alone.
Hell
But
yeah.
yeah, man. So back to you fucking you switched from Athena. How's that going?
Oh, Floraflex, but yeah.
Floraflex, that's
Uh
right.
no, I think it's going good, dude. These plants look fuck. I don't know if you saw those pictures I put of Blue
Oh yeah.
Zaroso up, but that bitch is looking
Those fan
like
leaves have more trichomes on them than some people's first grows.
they
Yeah.
really do,
It
man.
is
And they're
insane.
like, and the color, they're like I could tell they're getting sick of being alive because they're like starting to almost go black, dude. And they
Oh, it's
just look so fucking good. And like I'm getting a good fade on them, and I don't get that very often. So I feel like having uh, it's like a synganic line. They
mhm.
call it a organic synthetic hybrid line is
That's
what
pretty
they
cool.
call it, I think. But like with the kelp and all that shit, like I stopped giving the kelp because I don't want to give it the last few weeks of
Mhm.
flower. Um,
It's the
I
last
don't want
four,
like
right?
I don't want like PGR fucking dense buds that you could throw through a window or something. So I stopped with the kelp, but still continuing everything else for now. But that nutrient line, dude, it seems like it's the truth. And
It is.
honestly, I think the liquids are easier to mix than the fucking powders because I don't have to worry about making sure something's dissolved before I add the next thing. And because I
That's
would
what I
have
don't
with
like about the
floor,
Lotus. The
yeah,
Lotus
with
nutrient
Floraflex, I'd
powder
have to
too, and
like,
I'm always looking. Yeah.
yeah, you dump one part in and you got to wait like 5 or 10 minutes for it to circulate and fucking mix in. And then, so it takes for just as long as mixing the
Mm-hmm.
bottles, well, longer for me because yeah, Floraflex, if you didn't let the part one circulate long enough and you added part two, the whole fucking res would just go cloudy and everything would, it would be like nutrient fallout. So you had to, it's my fault because you're not supposed to mix it that way. You're supposed to like mix however many grams you're putting in the res in like 1 gallon of water, mix that up really good, dump that in the res, then get another gallon of plain water, mix up the two part and put that in the res. But I was just putting the shit right in the res. So as long as you let it mix up really good, it was working fine. But this Remo, dude, I'm not seeing the cow mag issue that I was running into. Um, Mango's getting a little bit too much light, but I'm kind of doing that on purpose. So she's got some calcium spots, but she's still pretty healthy and she's bulking up. Like fucking, the buds are getting heavy because she's like flopping over to the right side of the tent right now. I need to tie her up, and it's working, and I'm liking it. I think better than the Floraflex. Just um, I feel like I'm able to dial it in easier. Like I can just mix a little bit less nutrients, check my EC, and then if it's not enough, I can add like 5 more milliliters of each one and see what that bumps it up to. And I can kind of learn like which bottles cause EC to rise the most and all that kind of shit. So it's like, and you know, what's dropping pH or raising pH. It seems like I'm going to be, after a couple of runs with this shit, I'm going to be knocking it out of the park with it. Um,
Hell
that's
yeah,
why
dude.
I, that's why I wanted to run those photo periods because I want to see if like if full strength to the feed chart is good enough, is keeps my photos healthy the whole entire time, then I'm comfortable in saying that up until flower I can probably run half strength with the autos. And I just want to kind of be able to gauge it and dial it in. I'm tired of plants with like less than stellar terps and fucking plants getting fried up because calcium potassium antagonistic relationship. Like I'm tired of all that shit. So I want to be able to dial it in. So with my shit being split up between 7 bottles, I should be able to figure out if I'm having that issue, which one's causing it and back it off. With Floraflex, you got two
Two.
parts and then a bloom booster, and that's what you got, man. So
If it don't work, it don't work.
it
It
works.
does
You
work, but if you have
dude,
issues, you have issues.
well, and uh on the last episode of the Circle I talked about like how I asked a Floraflex if they changed anything and they said no or whatever. But then I was talking to Joe's Canagrow. Well, I saw Joe's Canagrow on Instagram make a comment about the new autoflower feed chart from Floraflex, and I messaged him and asked him about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah." I said, "I can't find it on their website. They just have the one that I like, the original one." And so he sent me a copy of it. So I still have a shitload of that left. I'm with that new feed chart and seeing the way his fucking plant's been looking lately, I might go ahead and use that up before I buy more Remo after I run out of Remo or something. But
Makes sense.
um,
Use what you got.
just to use it and not fucking throw it away, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't I don't want to throw it away.
Yeah. No, you
Uh,
don't. What do you use to pH with?
TMB Naturals makes really good pH up and down. It's like they're like little crystals. The down is like uh, granules of salt almost, and then the pH up is like little bigger chunks, like Epsom salt size maybe. But
Okay.
crush those up and fucking I've got that pretty much dialed in. You can What I really like about that, it's versatile. If you want to use the little crystals, you can, and if you don't, then you get you a fucking little bottle of water and add a bunch of it to that, and then you can just use a syringe and do drops or whatever, you know, what it like kind of like the GH liquid shit.
Mm-hmm.
or any other liquid shit. And
Right.
but it's cool because if you don't want to do that, and I, I would rather store a powder than a liquid because I feel like it's not going to fall out of solution or anything because it's not in solution. So
Right.
you can keep that shit around
A lot longer.
forever,
It's good
and
stuff
And
to
it
know.
works
your res
great.
doesn't drift at all.
Not a single
Oh,
fucking
that's
bit.
awesome.
But that's also, it would drift a little bit with Floraflex, but it'd be like if I set the res at 5.8, like 3 days later it might be 5.9, and after a week it might be at 6. So it was
I got
nothing bad.
Yeah.
This Remo, if I set it to 5.87 fucking on and check it in a week, it's 5.87
Nice,
whatever.
dude.
Like, so that's kind of nice with that. It really holds. Once you set it, it stays. Even with the microbes and shit in the res. That's another thing is like with that nutrient line, I don't feel like I'm wasting the microbes as much. I wasn't really ever sure if they were working for me in Floraflex because of some of the shit that was in it might be, detrimental to
Hurting
microbial
the
life.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But with Remo being like a semi, having organic shit in some of the additives, I feel like I'm providing a good environment for the microbes to actually thrive because there's organic material going into the cocoa and they're able to, process something. Whereas like before, there was nothing for them to process
Right.
because there's an additive I use called Nature's Candy. And it's basically like a molasses, and it has some other shit in it too. It's not just I didn't buy molasses water, but I feel like just that alone is like great for the
Oh
microbes
yeah.
that I'm adding, and the plants are showing me that's the case. I mean, those Blues Rosso are probably some of the most beautiful looking autoflowers, frostiest
Oh
autoflowers,
yeah.
terpiest. Like they are, because I switched right before they went into flower, and they're like there's one that smells almost like uh blue, like a sour blue raspberry candy. Like it's that
Ooh,
sweet and like it's
Wow.
that apparent. Like you brush up against it and smell your hand or whatever, and it's like instantly fucking blue raspberry candy.
wow.
And
Wow, dude.
then one of the other ones smells very similar, but it's got some maybe floral notes. It's not quite as sweet. It's a little bit more floral. Um, and then I think that shorter one, it's another one of the blue raspberry. Like they're all pretty similar, but they all seem at the I don't. It's hard to tell if they're really different or not. But one of them is clearly like a floral smell. It's pretty cool.
That's
I'm
amazing.
and like getting that fade and shit. I wasn't getting that fade with Floraflex, especially if I was still feeding them. Like maybe if I
Didn't
switched to
feed.
straight
Yeah.
water, they would start fading fucking pure yellow like my
Yeah.
4x4 just did when I switched them to pure water, but they weren't getting that Remo for much longer than just a couple weeks. So, um, yeah, I definitely think it's making a difference over the Floraflex. So I'm pretty happy with that shit so far. We'll see
What
as
you're
I
seeing,
continue to
what you're
use
seeing
it.
is the like a senescence more so than like the fucking death fade.
Yeah. More.
Yeah,
More
Yeah.
than
yeah, they don't look.
deficiencies.
The
Yeah.
lack, the efficiency
Yeah.
fade. Yeah. You're talking about
Yeah,
senescence, not fucking. Yeah.
they
That's awesome.
they look like what my plants would sometimes look like when I was still growing organic. Uh, like with the colors that they're putting out on the leaves as they're fading, and like they're just beautiful, dude. Like I'm
Yeah. The
so
fall
happy with
colors.
those plants
Yeah.
right now.
That you should be, man. That it's a great tent. It's absolutely beautiful. But before we get to Johnny's questions, I have to set a precedent, right? You were among us that were forced to watch something that we just shouldn't have had to watch, right? We watched Johnny deep throat a pizza.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it started a whole, it started a lot of therapy in the circle, really. But no, jokingly, we started asking people, right? Cheese or pepperoni or stuff like that. And we've heard some crazy things like no cheese, just dough and sauce from Toast Guy.
Kick him the fuck out.
I know. But
Nah, man.
because you were one of the ones who witnessed it and were a member of the first couple conversations afterwards, we got to get your answer as one of the most important milestones. If you go into a place, are you getting a slice of cheese or a slice of pepperoni?
Slice of pepperoni.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
If I'm ordering the pizza, I usually get one cheese pizza and then like a pepperoni sausage and mushroom or
There you go.
something. But I
There's
do
nothing.
not go like if I go into the fucking pizza shop just to grab a slice at Bruno's or something, I'm like, let me get that pepperoni,
Amen,
son.
man. We stand there, and I want to, for the record, there's nothing wrong with cheese. I will eat cheese pizza, but if I'm
Absolutely.
walking in, give me a pepperoni, man. Anywho, let's get to the questions people actually want to hear, Johnny.
Yeah, let's get to those good questions. What's the first seed you ever planted, and why was it an apple seed?
Well, if it's seed, I may be able to please you on this. If it's seed, it was not an apple. But we did get a fucking on Earth Day, we got apple trees when I was a kid. So I actually like my first actual plant that I tried to take care of was an apple tree.
Oh my god,
Nice.
that might be the
Yeah.
Fuck
first
yeah, dude.
victory. Yeah, that is really
Yeah.
sick.
I
Hell
planted
yeah.
that motherfucker right smack dab in the middle of the yard, and my mom was like,
How dare
I'm
you?
pretty sure it ended up getting fucking
Moved,
ran over with
Mowed.
the mower or something. Yeah. But I planted it and I
That's all
watered
that
it
matters.
while
That's
it
all
was
that
there. That's
matters.
all I know.
It is also a
Nice.
huge responsibility to give a child, here is this giant tree. Like to you, it's going to be even bigger. So take care of
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it.
it was like a fucking seedling of a
Well, of
tree.
course, but
It was like a foot tall when I brought it home, and yeah, I was probably in like third grade.
It's a
yeah,
cut.
So
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
would have been like,
still too much
eh,
responsibility for a child.
yeah, I was
Take
like
care of
8 or
this
9 years
tree that's
old.
going to
Like,
outlive
here's
you.
this fucking tree.
Yeah, I know you can't feed yourself, but here's a pet
Yeah,
and a tree.
yeah.
No,
Your
I mean,
mom
So,
still wipes your
yeah,
ass, but
exactly. Yeah,
grow this tree.
grow this tree. You,
shit.
but yeah, I mean, that's a good one. I like that. That's a the first of its kind.
Hell yeah, I dig it.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you didn't make a pie with it. So what's your favorite pie, and why is it apple?
Man, Rev's gonna hate me because I do love apple pie.
God damn, really?
Yes.
Is it-
A la mode.
Yeah. If we're talking fruit pies,
Ugh.
yeah. Alamode, Cool Whip, whatever the fuck
We're
you
talking
got.
any pie you
Plain.
want.
Yeah, any pie. It could be fucking
Because this brings up a good
Shepherd's.
conversation that we've had. You turned me on to what is peanut butter pie.
Okay, I was just getting ready to say if it's
Yeah.
every pie, then peanut butter pie.
I had never heard of that before.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
So
It's
do
like
tell us.
Johnny's favorite cream pie, but peanut butter flavored.
Mmm.
It's
I
like
could just
graham.
see it
Here, I'll
all over
describe.
my face now.
So it's like from what I've gathered, it's like it's not just peanut butter in a pie. It's like a
No,
peanut butter filling.
it's like peanut butter whip. Like
Yeah.
it's like fluffy, like key lime pie consistency, like the topping
Hmm.
of the key lime pie. It's like fluffy. It's kind of like that. It's like a peanut butter mousse almost, I guess is how I would describe
Oh
it.
yeah.
On a graham cracker
Heaven.
crust or a Oreo crust. They make
Ooh.
those
That would be good.
with the peanut butter pie, and then they put like when my wife makes it, she puts like a chocolate drizzle on the top.
Mm.
See,
Dude, it's dangerous, son. I'm telling you, I
I
don't know. I don't know.
I very much appreciate you bringing it up because it literally blew my mind. Because every year, right, in my family, we have this tradition of you get to pick what pie or cake or whatever flavor you want. And
Yeah,
I'm not overly fond of sweets, so I'd always just let them pick whatever they want, like whatever you guys want to eat. Obviously, if I'm not going to eat it, why should I decide? But now I'm going to throw down next month, fucking peanut butter pie. Figure it out.
hell yeah.
Figure it out.
Finally, I think it'll be my first time ever since I was like, obviously as a little kid, I was probably just like sugar or whatever kind, but it'll be my first time as somewhat conscious to be like, pick an actual pick. and it's
I
all
love
because
it.
of
Peanut butter
Mac.
pie, dude.
Yeah,
You're gonna fall in love, and you're gonna be fat
I'm gonna be
again,
cat
and
fat
fucking
again.
it's
Lose.
gonna relapse you on the fucking sugar
I was gonna say
train,
I'm gonna go hooked back onto sugar. I'm gonna get all fat like I was still drinking, and I'll be like, Mac, what have you done to me?
dude. Like my wife won't even make that if we're not going somewhere to take it with us because I will eat that whole entire fucking thing.
Awesome.
Right on, dude. Right
Also,
on.
just look at this motherfucker right now. You guys can't see it because we're on video, but he is Sherlock Holmes his peak right now, and he just made it so cool.
That is that's your what are those
The
things? Those
Peak
is
Pro,
dabbing,
right?
right?
No, this is the proxy.
Oh, the Proxy. That's right. The Peak is the normal one, right?
They just came out with a Gandalf pipe for it. It's like
Really?
No.
yeah, it's like fucking 14 inches long or
Johnny.
something.
Dude, I need it. I need it.
Is it
Big time.
how often do you have to clean it? I imagine it's better than just a piece, obviously. But how bad does
Yeah.
it get? Because is it still gonna be a bitch? You hear my
No,
voice
it's
crack? I'm finally going through
That was
puberty.
awesome.
yeah.
I'm finally
No,
going through puberty.
Hey,
Hey
welcome
guys.
to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger.
it's way easier to clean than like a regular bowl or a bubbler or
Right
bong
on.
or anything because it's just like the the piece where like the fucking chamber and shit is pops hang on it pops
No.
out of, so then
Oh,
you just have
Okay.
like the hollow glass you can just dunk it in
that's sick.
alcohol and fucking clean the outside of the chamber and it's good to go. It takes like 5 minutes to clean it. It's kind of nice. And
Hell yeah.
they make an attachment for like a flower bowl attachment so you can turn it into a flower
Oh
bowl. But
shit. That'd be a bit, yeah.
if you're not going to use it for dabs, it's a waste of money because that would be a
It's a
three
waste.
hundred
Yeah.
dollar fucking.
Bowl.
Flower bowl
But I
adapter.
I did not pay that. However,
No, you're a
I
lucky
just
son
ordered
bitch.
I just ordered my mom a freeze pipe.
Oh
You guys ever
really?
tried those before?
those are
Uh
badass. No,
those
but
are
I want to.
I want
I
one.
want
Dude,
one.
this I opened up the box and looked at it. It's nice, man. It looks like a quality piece. So, and she likes to smoke bowls. I don't. So I just figured fucking something nice and hopefully
you,
she enjoys it a little bit more.
you know, I recently started to interrupt. We still have your one question, but I thought it was a funny story. I always smoke joints when I take Captain for walks, right?
Mhm.
But the other night I was taking a for and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna bring my bubbler. What a fucking disaster that fucking turned into of a night trip of holding a dog who sees another dog who wants to run as I'm like trying to fucking load a bubbler, you know, and as he's pulling, water's coming out the back, and I'm like, no, no, no. So it turned, and I'm going, yeah, I love my bubbler, but I think it's time to just retire it. Like we were talking, like it'll be fine every once in a while, but fuck walking with it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh no.
So next time
Mm-mm.
I'm bringing my 7-foot bong, no, I'm just kidding. Gonna bring a dolly with me and just, can you like that?
Dude, have you guys I've been seeing this fucking gigantic bong that you could like stand inside of on Instagram that some company's making that I'm
No way.
somebody's making that I'm following. It is fucking huge, dude. Like the dude posted like the guy that makes them in their shop. They have one that they like cut the front of it off and made it a dog house, and his dog fucking sleeps in it. It's like
Jesus.
it's literally massive. Like you would need a
No,
fucking
thank you.
eight. Yeah, it's just like when they turn it on, there's probably like a pound of weed in the bowl, and it just smokes out the entire fucking room. It is so cool.
That is
It
really
is
That's
cool.
so
fucking crazy.
impractical.
I
It
was gonna
is
say
so
that's so
impractical, but
impractical.
it is so fucking cool.
The only time I've ever fucking like had a super bad time was with a really large bong. I forget how big it was. It wasn't quite like 6 foot, but I fucking puked after taking that in, dude. And I was like, why is this fun? Like,
Yeah.
granted, I'm really high, but I just puked really high, and that's not fun.
No.
The the only thing that made me puke like that, I was a fucking. Do you remember they used to sell 3 liter bottles of soda?
Oh,
Like if you
yeah.
got like the fucking citrus drop or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
we made a gravity bong out of that, dude, and the smoke got so thick. It was so thick, it was yellow. You know what
oh
I'm talking. I
Oh
know you know what I'm
man.
talking about.
Oh, yep.
And I fucking ripped that thing, dude, and fuck yacked everywhere,
dude,
everywhere.
I just remember as I pulled the piece was pulled out and I was inhaling, them being like, "Don't be a bitch, take it all." And I'm like, "Why did that work on me?" Like outside, I was just puking, going, "That worked. That worked on me. I'm an idiot."
Yeah, that's funny as fuck, dude. Because it, I felt the same way. I was like, I am so fucking stupid. Because my friends would like my nickname was Iron Lungs.
Oh,
Because
you got hyped
dude,
up, dude.
I could smoke like a whole entire blunt in one hit, just fucking,
Oh
you
shit.
know, just chief it and just keep going and going and going and not ever exhale. And so they call
Fuck.
me Iron Lungs. So when they saw me puke from that shit, they're like, I don't even
Uh-oh.
want
Uh-uh.
to
Yeah,
do
no,
that.
thank
I
you.
don't even want
Nope.
to do that
Oh
because they
man.
know they can't smoke like Big Chief.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
I'm not like that anymore, though. I can't. Half a joint, dude, and I'm so ripped. I never smoked weed this good before, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it is very much quality.
Fuck
Uh,
yeah. How'd you get that healthy? Was it apple a day and all that? Or what's your favorite fruit and why is it apple?
Mm. My favorite fruit's probably. I really like fruit, man. Watermelon or oranges.
there you go.
All
Yeah.
right.
I
I
don't
get down with the
really. If I'm eating a raw apple, I'm eating like peanut butter with it.
yeah.
That's a good one. Hummus is pretty good too.
Really? I never tried that with apples.
I have it. Yeah, not with apple.
It's worked. That and carrots, you mix it's I mean, it's obviously
That
peanut butter's
sounds
better.
that sounds almost as bad as cheese on apple pie.
Yeah, that's absurd, but
You're so wrong. You've got to try it. It's a slice of cheddar. I digress.
yeah,
But I
let's
digress.
one of these days we'll have an episode where everybody gets into the ring and we discuss every one of these and
I
we
just missed my chance to
I
try
know.
that yesterday, dude.
Don't try
Really?
Really?
it. There's nothing good that can come from it. If you like it for the rest of your life, I will know that my dear friend has fallen to the dark side.
It's a bite of cheese and a bite of apple
That's true. I mean, there's
pie.
nothing. So
It's
your
delicious.
favorite fruit? What? Okay, with watermelon, do you just slice it up, or do you ever go aqua fresca?
Uh, Mostly I just like we'll get it and I'll cut a big wheel of it, cut that wheel in half and fucking pour a little salt on it and
Salt. Okay, right
Yep.
on.
yeah,
Salt. I love
I'm weird. I like to put salt on my watermelon. I swear it makes it taste juicier.
I think isn't there? I'm sure one of the chefs will kick in the comments later, but
Stoney's gonna have to tell us.
there is. I think there's a scientific process that why salt makes sweets more sweet, but I don't
It
know.
sweet.
it
Do they
makes
teach
it
that in the
like
army, Johnny? In army
Mm-mm.
cook class? So
No.
they're like, if you want to make
No.
something slightly sweeter,
Nope. 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 They
I
there's
taught us
wonder
how
if
to
it's
make
something
brown
like with the
gravy.
water.
yeah, yeah, right. I'm sure there's something, but
And he had to eat a lot of white gravy.
yeah, he did. That's how he got through Germany. Um, actually, that's why half of Germany is Johnny. Uh,
The good half.
the good half, the Eastern Bloc. Um, just kidding.
But yeah, man, no, we appreciate your time, but
Oh
it is
yeah,
Sunday and
absolutely.
Padres got to hit us with a sermon.
Yeah, man. I very much appreciated Mac for coming on and in the spirit of his wonderful information. I want to say that one of the great things about this hobby is sharing information as we go along. So never forget, man, we all stand on the shoulders of giants and information should be free. Don't be a dick, mind your own business and go with Frog. Before we cut out completely, we forgot to let Mac plug. So
No, yeah, I was just gonna say that, Mac. What you got to plug, man?
Uh, if you want to get some Soulfire
there we
gear,
go.
you can use my fucking Soulfire discount code. It's at SFC Mac Attack. It's the only pinned post on my Instagram, so you can just check that out or check my story. I post it there every couple days. Other than that, Listen to the circle, motherfuckers. But if
That's
you're
right.
listening to this, you probably already do. So um, just plug my mouth hole and in this shit.
There we go, man. Check him out.
I was planning on filling that mouth hole anyways, my
Yeah.
friend.
Thank you for joining us. Check out Mac, of course, every now bi-week or bi-monthly circles, man. Every other week, check out Mac. The Big
Yeah,
Chief.
Out.
the
And
big,
Big
chief.
Chief Iron Lungs. That's
Big
it.
Chief.
Big Chief
Big
Iron
Chief Iron
Lungs.
Lungs. No
Big
doubt.
country.
Thanks, man. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for your time, buddy.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.